Coming to you from the historic Hart Building in Marysville, California, in Studio 93, In the Tank with Fish, with your host, Bob Fischetti.
All right, well, welcome to yet another exciting episode of In the Tank with Fish. I can't even remember when I did the last one. I went on vacation, and I don't know. I can't remember, but Kelly's not back, but I'm currently looking for a co-host. And I was going to try to talk my guest into it, but he's just too busy. He's got a real job. Randy Maddocks from Hard Rock. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you? I'd love to do that if I could do it from my office.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we'll go over to your office.
We'll figure it out.
All the gear there.
Yeah, green room. Bring it over.
Yeah.
Show to the green rooms.
Yeah. Is your office big enough to put all these cameras in?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
we can make it work.
Yeah, that's it. We'll just move the whole show. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
So I haven't talked to you in a while.
A couple months, yeah.
Been really busy, and I know you guys have had just a ton of great music out there and comedy guys, and I don't even know. I look at the list anymore, and some of the things I don't even know what they are. Right, so I think some of it's MMA or.
Well, we left last time I was on. We were talking about Biba Doobie.
Yep.
Yeah. So that wound up being the most attended, highest ticket sales show we've had since we've been open in 3 years, and the longest line to get in. The GA line went all the way around the outside of the property to the back side of the hotel. So,
well,
yeah.
as you know, my grandson was instigated that with me, and now we play her stuff on 93.
So, I mean, it's amazing that show broke our records out of everything that we've had. So it's 3 months ago now. But yeah,
she's extremely talented, and I could see where, like a lot of times, music comes out, and I could see, just that generation would like it. But I could see how she could cross generations.
Yeah,
with that jazz thing.
Well, I mean, and just this last weekend was completely different. You know, we had Lyle Lovett on Thursday. Yeah. We had a heavy metal show at Dance Gavin Dance local band, and then finished it up with Clint Black. So it was like, and then Elvis Costello was a week ago too. So it's kind of a totally different vibe. That's what we're all about. We do different shows all the time.
Who did Costello come with?
Charlie Sexton.
Charlie Sexton.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is, but the name sounds familiar.
What is studio musician? I think he was a guitar player and some other instrumental stuff with a lot of old school Americana type shows. Yeah. But I mean, I wouldn't be able to pick him out from the 20 people that were on stage, but he was there.
Nah, I know sometimes those people who are really fans will say, "Oh, he did this and that," and I'm like, Skunk Baxter, I can follow.
Yes, Skunk. I mean, that name's awesome.
Yeah, we saw him at another casino, which will remain nameless, years ago, before the Hard Rock existed.
Okay.
And my son said, "Dad, that looks like Skunk Baxter." And I said, "It's got to be him. I mean, he's got a look, right?" And he was with the Nelsons.
Okay.
He was playing with the Nelsons.
Oh, wow.
And so after the concert, we ran up to, I just wanted to say hello and meet him. And we go up, and he said, "Man, I'm sorry." I said, "I got to get out of here. I'd love to talk to you." He said, I have a job in Washington, D.C. And I said, "What?" And he said, "Well, it's not rocket science." He said, "Actually, it is. I'm a fuels expert."
No way.
And I was like, and I've met guys that they have like another. So who would think Skunk Baxter is a fuels expert?
Well, ironically, a totally different topic, but like NFL referees all have daytime jobs when the season's not out. So like they're either accountants or lawyers or.
Nobody would think that.
No. Ed Hockley, like one of the most famous referees, has like an accounting agency in Phoenix or something like that. That's his day job.
So I have to tell you, I'm not a basketball fan, right? I like Jordan. I like, probably my favorite. I mean, when I think about it, it's like, the guy's got personality, whatever. And so my grandson, I tell him to text you, and he calls me in the middle. I said, "Don't call me." He just calls me. Anyway, there's different ones. So you see that. Well, now I guess the latest thing is Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, I watched her play. I was blown away. I see why she fills stadiums.
Yeah, she's great. But they're out for her right now. They're trying to beat her up a little bit while she's on the court. It's like old school late 80s NBA stuff with the Pistons and Celtics and all that stuff. They're getting in fist fights. Like, that's awesome. That's what they need.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like if I'm just gonna go watch a game, it's like hockey.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up in St. Louis. We had the Blues. Hockey, I don't care what anybody says, it's brutal.
Yeah.
You know, it's
half the time you can't even see the puck. You're just watching guys skate around, hoping they punch each other or crash into the wall. It's hard to follow. When you're at the game, it's hard to follow the puck.
It is.
On
It
TV,
moves
they
really
got the laser treatment on it, and it shows you where it's going and stuff. And when you're there, you're like, I can't see anything.
So I told you I wanted to talk to you about. You have a favorite band of all, and you've met just tons of artists, and probably as artists go, you probably have one that you thought, well, that he's just or she is just really nice people, right? I could hang out with them, but you like the Killers.
Killers,
and it's like so. I just wanted to ask you, what is your connection with that band?
Well, my favorite band of all time is U2. I have been since I was a kid, but my second favorite is the Killers. Then it probably goes Lenny Kravitz, Pearl Jam, Chili Peppers, like somewhere around in there, Ice Cube. I'm really kind of all over the place, but
still that same era.
Coldplay, forgot about Coldplay. But the Killers, to me, you know, they've been around 20 years now, 21 years now. And they're very influenced by U2 and Bruce Springsteen and a lot of 80s new wave stuff. And I grew up with all that. I got into them because I don't know if you remember the show The OC. It used to be on TV.
Yeah.
So they used to have a lot of bands. They were like one of the first shows that kind of had a lot of new musicians that were syncing their music, or they'd perform on the show as like at the bar, kind of like 90210 when they go to the Peach Pit.
Yeah.
There was a bar or whatever that they had in the OC, and then so the Killers were on there for an episode doing one of their new songs. That's how I got into them. But 21 years later, after their first album came out, I went to Vegas to see their 20th anniversary residency twice this last year, or actually January this year and August of last year. So they did some secondary shows. I've had them twice at the Hard Rock, and not by me going after them necessarily. It just came upon us that we had the opportunity to get an arena or a stadium or festival-sized band in a 2,500-seat venue, and it's been awesome. I've been 4 times in 2 years I've gotten to see them. Before that, I hadn't seen them since 2014 in Tucson when I worked in Tucson. So there's a lot of music in there. A lot's happened since then. But they are great songwriters. They keep putting out hits. I mean, Mr. Brightside's been in like the top 100 songs over in England for the last 20 years. It's broken a record. And like you got NFL teams like the Bills are playing it as their theme song. It's kind of like no more. Sweet Caroline. You got the Red Sox playing Sweet Caroline, and you got the Giants doing Don't Stop Believin', or the Niners and all that stuff. Now the Killers are the Bills theme song because they can't make it to the Super Bowl, but they're still happy about it. But I don't know, man. I mean, Brandon, the lead singer, is great. I mean, he dresses like this pretty frequently.
Well, there you go.
I actually wore stuff like this to the shows I went to. But I don't know, man. They just seem to keep churning out really good music, and they do amazing cover songs. I hope they would release a cover album, kind of like Weezer did a couple years ago. Weezer got big again with the song Africa by Toto and became big all of a sudden again. And then Toto, when they were on the road that summer, they were doing Hash Pipe or Island in the Sun or something. They were doing Weezer songs, which was cool. Because when we had them actually in Ohio at the Hard Rock, I was like, I wonder what Weezer song Toto's going to do and flip it, and that was actually pretty cool.
These bands are doing covers of each other's music, and sometimes the cover's better than the original. It just, I mean, they just really nail it, you know. And I've noticed at concerts a lot of times that they'll kind of save it, but they know it's a song people like, and you don't know they do it. So they kind of save it towards the end, and then they play this song, and the crowd is just like, whoa.
Well, with my job, I get the unique perspective of hearing the sound checks in person. I can walk right out my office, or I can watch it in my office. And when we had the Killers here the first time, they were rehearsing "Why Can't This Be Love" by Van Halen.
Oh man!
Because they were playing the Ohana Festival down in Orange County, like the next day, and Sammy was going to come out, or vice versa, and they were going to do the song together. So I got to hear them do that song like 3 times. They crushed it. I was like, "What? Are they doing that tonight?" And then I remembered that Sammy was going to be at the tour the next day of down.
You invited me to a Van Halen cover band.
Jump, yeah.
And those guys were so excited to be there.
Yes.
I don't know if they're supposed to stay in character, but that guy came out several times and just said, "We're just so happy."
Yeah, they were floored. It was the best, biggest show they've had. You know,
Man.
and they crushed. I mean, they're one of those tribute bands that will be playing. They are Van Halen at this point, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of different Van Halen tribute shows throughout my life, and they're the youngest, best from Ohio. They're ready to crush. They were asking us for advice. I was giving them some heads up on what they should do. They have a new agent. I was just kind of free business advice for those guys, because I actually, when I get into somebody I like that, I want to help them. It's kind of what I do. I used to do A&R and all that stuff.
Oh.
And I had my own my own record label back in the day before I got into the venue stuff.
Wow.
So I like that. I like finding new artists or seeing openers succeed. Like we just had Dance Gavin Dance, and there's a band called the Home Team. They were awesome. I mean, in my opinion, they're almost better than the headliner, but you can see that trajectory. Like they're going to crush soon. It's kind of like Biba Doobie. She's going to be on the next level very, very soon. Same with Benson Boone or Gracie Abrams, all those folks, all the Taylor Swift effect. They're all huge right now.
Yeah, they opened with him jumping off the drum platform and doing that straight out leg thing. I mean, he nailed it. Physically, that guy was...
I was waiting for him to just rip his pants about 5 times.
Exactly.
I mean, I was like, this guy's going to pull a groin or something when I was up there. But the ironic thing is we only had one riser set up.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, we need one taller. So we had to stack them and belt them and make sure so it was taller than what it was supposed to be, so that he could jump full force, do the leg. He was doing karate kicks and all kinds of stuff up in his... Even did the sword thing.
He did.
I was like, what are you doing? I mean, that's a tribute right there when you're doing the whole sword thing in the middle of the show. Like, everyone was like, what the hell is going on?
He was really good at interacting with the audience. You know, he got that. Yeah. And, you know, David Lee Roth it would be like he'd get close and talk. And even though it was part of the show, he was like talking to people. Yeah. It was really good, really well done. You know, just want to jump back to Biba Doobie. There's another group out called Levy. Is that it? Mm-hmm. That apparently she does jazz.
Yeah.
And the kids love her, and she's like a jazz artist. It's like Sade's come back, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Well, last year I remember we talked about. You asked me what artist I thought was just blew me away that I wasn't expecting. It's that Steven Sanchez guy from El Dorado Hills. We're looking to bring him back next year. Ironically, on the Hush, we might bring Mr. David Lee Roth in. We've got some pretty good shows going on. I mean, Back in Black, our AC/DC tribute we had last year, is coming back finally. They're amazing. And I'm super excited. Tribute-wise, I'm super excited about Strange Love, which is a Depeche Mode.
Oh.
A Depeche Mode experience show. They're from the area. I think some of the guys might be from the area, but they crush it. They actually open for themselves as a David Bowie tribute. The Electric Duke, or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Then they come out and do 2 hours of Depeche Mode, too. And they're spot on. Their visuals are great. They look the part. One guy's got the mohawk and the keyboard situation going on. So, like, those types of shows are really important for us because it fills the room and the calendar in, but it also lets a lot of players that may not necessarily, like, game a lot
get an
opportunity to see the shows because it's a less expensive ticket. Otherwise, we got to reserve all the tickets for Sting for our best players, you know. So these are the types of shows we get the general public in there, and it's a $20 ticket, $25 ticket. It's nice. We just had the Bee Gees tribute was just here again.
I was going to ask you about that because you said
they have 3 years in a row, man. They've crushed every year. Everyone's dressed up, having a good time.
Yeah, I missed that one. I really wanted to go. I've been on vacation and doing stuff, and so. But man, you guys just have great shows out there. Yeah. You know, and I remember talking to you before about tribute bands. Mm-hmm. And it's like a tribute band is not a cover band.
No.
A cover band just covers different songs. Tribute bands, they act like the band.
Yeah,
that's their whole thing.
They are the band. They represent the music and play it extremely well. And then occasionally they'll get the ones where the lead singer, someone's actually kind of looks like them.
Yeah.
There's an Aerosmith band called Aeromyth. Uh-huh. And they do this. Steven Tyler in that band was on like the Today Show and all these look-alike type contests and stuff. I mean, he does look like him. It's ridiculous. There's the Killer Queen, the guy that plays Freddie Mercury. I mean, he's got it down pat with the skinny little body and the wife beater and the teeth, and it's wild. Yeah, but that stuff serves a purpose, you know. But on the other hand, we'll do the bigger stuff, like, you know, we just had Sting and We're going to announce a pretty huge classic rock and roll Hall of Fame band coming soon in a couple weeks.
Now
When's this air again?
Huh?
When's this going to air? Maybe I can drop it now.
This is going to air Saturday.
This Saturday. Oh, I got to wait. Sorry, man.
We were so close.
November
guys.
21st. Put it on your calendar. It'll be a great day. Big show for us in the area.
So you just mentioned that sometimes, like if you have a certain band, people already they frequent the Hard Rock, they get first dibs on those tickets. Is that how that works?
Oh yeah, we utilize our database through Ticketmaster and send out pre-sale emails. Anybody that's come to a show and that's in our database usually gets first dibs. We also do it for the casino guests. Have a Players Club card, and we shoot a couple emails out to some other partners and give them a heads up so they can get some good seats. And
I get an email.
Yeah,
I don't know how I got on the list. I get an email.
I know a guy probably put you on there.
Would you really?
Did you opt in? Please opt in.
I know.
Don't let me email you without supposed to be emailing. Opt in, please.
Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, and I get the little flyer.
I'm messing with you. Yeah, if you have a Players Club card, you get.
Yeah, I do.
You get the mailer. Yeah.
Marked veteran. I just want to say.
Oh, great! You got the Rockstar Salute card. You got the Rockstar Salute. Yeah, those are great. Yeah,
which is a great idea. Yeah. I mean, I appreciate that. There's things like that. The whole music industry has changed since you got in. Since you said you had a label.
Yeah,
man, it's just radically different. So it surprises me how new artists will come through another door. They'll be seen on YouTube or something, and all of a sudden they're huge. Like you said, Biba Doobie she toured with Taylor Swift, and all of a sudden she's huge. Just almost overnight, right?
Yeah, I went to Coachella the day after us.
Yeah. My grandson was like, "I got to watch that." Right? So,
well, nowadays, it's all about who's got marketing dollars. The label doesn't much mean anything anymore. How much marketing can you put behind this artist? Because your distribution costs for the albums and everything are basically nothing now, unless you physically want to make vinyl, which is huge again. No one's really distributing CDs, so to put your music online for free, it costs you nothing. Even 25 years ago when I was doing it, it still costs money to produce CDs. MP3s were just starting out. iPods just came out when I was doing this. U2, first band to partner with Apple and a commercial of any kind. And the Apple iPod with the black Vertigo iPod that was black with the red target on it for the How to Dismantle Atomic Bomb album. And everyone was like, man, why am I hearing this Vertigo ad over and over and over and over again? But they won 8 Grammys and toured the world and broke records and everything. And they've been around already for 30 years.
Yeah, it's funny how quickly you go, oh, that seemed like I just heard that, right? Now it's,
That song's 20 years old now.
I was in my garage the other day, and my son grabs this. I found it. It's a Discman.
Oh, yeah.
The Discman.
The little crappy headphones.
CD player.
With the little foam.
In the little case and everything.
A Walkman, a Discman,
Yeah. And I was like, I forgot I even had that. I don't know where. I think, I don't have a charger for it. So it's
you can't even find the actual plug-in port anymore. The actual plug-ins phones don't even have those anymore, the little plug-in. But some bands are actually re-releasing cassettes. They're going retro with cassettes now. It's kind of fun.
I saw an article on Tower Music and how they still exist in Japan.
Yeah.
And in the end of that documentary, they said cassettes are coming back.
Yeah.
And I remember cassettes, you'd drive down the road, and they'd be strung down the side of the road.
Throwing on.
Right.
On out, and then they drop them.
And it's like, okay, is that a good medium?
The cassettes are cool, but now you got to find something to play them on.
Yeah.
Because all the old players suck. They're old and they're useless now. So if you're going to bring a cassette back now the company's like, now we'll charge $500 for a cassette player. If you want to get cool, you got to buy an awesome turntable for vinyl now. And have a whole setup. So the industry it's kind of like buying a printer nowadays. You can buy a cheap printer, but the ink costs more than the printer. That's what's going to happen with some of this stuff.
Well, you're always looking for not just the next group, but really the ones that people will go see that. Or maybe an older group. I went out there for Smokey Robinson, and there's quite a few people there for Smokey.
Yeah.
And it's like, you just never know. I don't know how you navigate that, Randy.
Because I have ice in my veins.
Is there?
Yeah, I have to be the coolest person in the room because, trust me, internally I'm stressing. Right now, the industry, the mega stars are selling out their stadiums, no problem. The Morgan Wallens, the Metallicas, the U2's, Lady Gaga, all that stuff. Coldplay, they're selling out. Though there's never not going to. But the rest of the industry and the lower level venues, like even arenas now are opening up their show at the Upper Bowl open, and now a lot of the shows are closing the Upper Bowl and moving people down to the lower because ticket sales are slow. And then venues my size are kind of we're good because we don't have to get too crazy. But even across the country at other places, I have friends that I work at other venues. It's all the same right now. We're all like 30% down. Ticket prices are up, but ticket sale totals are down, and it's that time of year too where everyone's on the road, everyone's got other things to do. But that's why I'm like, all right, great, we have 4 shows in the month of July. Can I take a break? But then we go nuts the rest of the year. I've got almost 20 plus shows September, October, November, December right now, and I'm almost done. I have 3 confirmations in the next year already.
Yeah.
So we're moving along, but talking about new people like I'm going to go to San Francisco, I think, to see this EDM group from Mexico called Midnight Generation. I'm hooked, and the only reason I got hooked on them is because they kept coming up in my Instagram feed. Because I watched their video one time, and now it's every day. And then I checked out their album that came out in April the other day, and it's like, all right, like I'm hooked on. I shared it with my team. I'm gonna go. I'm 48 years old, and I'm gonna be probably the oldest person there. Feeling like the youngest, but I'm gonna be the oldest person there probably, and that'd be good. But I'm like, but it's cool to me because I'm starting to find some newer artists. So I got stuck into that. Oh, the music is not the same as what it used to be. Everybody says that, but I'm starting to get into some newer things right now because my favorites in their 60s now. U2 and all those guys are in their 60s. They don't put out new music much anymore. So and I'm waiting. It's been 6 years since their last album. In between all that, I saw them at the Sphere, and Bono's done some projects and stuff, but. Then I've got the bands that have been around 20 plus years, like Coldplay and the Killers. Those are my next level artists that I'll be around for the next 20 years. And now I'm trying to find people that are, when I turn 80, they're going to be listening to them. They're still only 30 years old. Some of these kids, So
it's funny that you should mention what comes over your like Facebook, Instagram, Reels. Yeah. So there's this band, and I don't know where they're from. I think they're country for sure. They're called the Haywoods. Well, they're doing covers, and they're so good because their harmonies are amazing. So they take covers, and they have a country flair to them now because they're like country, right? They got a fiddle, the whole thing. But, at first I went on, and then as I was watching it, they started singing like Seven Bridges Road, those songs that are well known for the harmony parts in them. And I was like, these guys are really good. Who are they? They just show up on your phone, right? You have no idea, and I don't know. I don't even know if they got an album out because I haven't heard them play anything original, right? Everything they do is so if they've got new music out there.
It's like the new MySpace. That's how people find out about people. MySpace used to be what I used.
They did
because MySpace. Everyone had a MySpace account. If you had a band back in the day, you were trying to get yourself promoted on MySpace. Now you just post your videos.
Yeah,
but like I'm into this bolero guy. He's a mariachi. He looks like in a mariachi group, but he stands out. He's from LA. He stands out at the metro stations, and he's playing like Dr. Dre and Ice Cube and Cypress Hill on a Mexican style guitar. And I'm like, I got to bring that guy up here.
Oh yeah.
And then there's another guy. He's the Easy Band or something like that. He's playing banda, norteña, cumbia covers of classic rock songs and all this other stuff. Like I came across Cult of Personality by Living Colour the other day. Dude's playing the guitar part on the accordion, going da-na-na-na-na-na on an accordion. I was like, what? I got to have this guy come up too. And then the guy who's huge right now is this dude from Georgia that was on the cruise ship, was singing karaoke. Keith Sweat's Nobody. He's famous now.
Yeah.
Carnival Cruise Lines is giving him free trips and swag. And he's like, Keith Sweat's, that song came out in 96, and now it's like in the Billboard charts again because this dude was singing at karaoke on a cruise ship and his videos went viral. And I'm like, well, I'm going to bring this guy out because we have Keith Sweat in October. I need this guy to come out and do Keith Sweat karaoke or something. You know, Michael, if you're around, I need you to call me.
Yeah, call him.
But I want him to come out. I want him to introduce Keith Sweat. Like I don't know how,
wouldn't that be cool?
I don't know how Keith Sweat doesn't use him to introduce every single one of his shows right now. And like, hey, coming to a town near you, and we're gonna do Keith Sweat karaoke. Like I need to talk to these guys. I need them to call me. Call me.
That's pretty funny when you think about it. There's so much available now. Mm-hmm. It's not like before where the industry really kind of picked what you were going to get to hear.
Right.
And trying to get through that maze is just...
The noise is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I call it noise just because everyone's so distracted. You know, you're not only listening to music, you're watching music while you're playing a video game, while you're driving a car, whatever you're doing. Everyone's super distracted. So what's the little earworms that are gathering people's thoughts and prayers, I guess, while they're listening to whatever they're doing and doing whatever they're doing at work. Like I listen to music while I'm at work. I listen to music while I'm driving. Music while I'm getting ready. Before I came out here today, I was listening to Eric Clapton on my way out here. So it was very interesting.
So I have to ask because the people that write music for video games, some of that music's incredible.
It's awesome.
So did any of those guys ever tour?
Yes, yeah.
They do?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a lot of they're composers.
Yeah.
They're electronic composers. You know, the Mario world music is insane. There's whole tours. They go out, yeah. I mean, all the Minecraft stuff, and yeah, it's awesome.
That's, I would be thinking, so you go to the concert and there's a guy sitting at a computer, right?
A bunch of keyboards.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to have like 20 different keyboards now. It's like guitar guys, they have like a guitar for every song. Now these guys have pre-programmed, Moog computer or keyboards ready to go. Yamaha, this one does this one does that, and they're jamming now. It's pretty cool. That's that Midnight Generation group I was just talking about.
Yeah.
There's like 8 of them or something like that, and they're playing guitar here and there, but they're all doing different things on the keyboards, and then they have the squawk box thing going on. While it's very old school. A little Peter Frampton action going on there.
There is two young girls. One plays violin, the other plays bagpipes. And they're on YouTube. And they do all this. Kurt just got lit up because I said bagpipes because he's a bagpipe player, right?
Bring it back.
But they do all these classic rock songs and stuff. And now violin is over the top, right? Bagpipes, I'm sure some of that's really hard, so they do that. But the violin takes off like a guitar.
Looks like what? Ever seen two cellos? Okay, so these guys, there's these dudes. They play rock and roll on cellos with a live orchestra and band. They'll do Metallica and Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, all that stuff. It's amazing.
Yeah, I just realized I saw a YouTube video of those guys.
Yeah, they're amazing. They travel the world. Yeah.
So what's next for you? You're looking down the road.
Yeah.
And you're doing what you do with musicians. So on the one side, you're looking for, like you talked about, next music, whatever. But as a profession, you ever going to get tired of this, or is it just you're like, man, I love my job?
I do really love my job. I mean, it's not just the music side of stuff. Like, especially for me, working for a tribally owned, Native American owned it's like working for a nonprofit. Everything I do and everything the casino does benefits a community of people. So it's kind of my job to make sure everything runs awesomely and we're having a good time at the same time, and everyone knows where we're at. Since this is airing this weekend, it's looking like we're going to have our 250th show in July with George Thorogood, last July 29th, last show of the month. And so, unless something pops in there, it is likely, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But George Thorogood's our 250th concert. We've probably done 30 plus community related events, from dinners with Yuba Sutter, or we've had a couple Celebration of Life, for Officer Rodarte and Cotton Rosser. We've had those both in our venue. We've done Pinktober every year, raising money for breast cancer awareness, and
you do Back to Badge.
We do Back to Badge. We do a lot of stuff over there. So in our room. So if you add all that together, we probably had 400 events in the last 3 years, and we June 3rd was our 3rd anniversary. We opened with Maroon 5. Our last show in that 3 years was Pablo Cruz. Our boy John Cassidy. Sorry you didn't make it, man. Great show.
Yeah.
But we're moving forward. I mean, we're already looking ahead. Like, we're trying to figure out our when's our 450,000 tickets sold coming. Like we've had 400,000 plus people come to Hard Rock Live since we've been open, and 300,000 plus tickets sold. We did an economic impact study for an article that's coming out in the Sac Biz Journal. It's like $54 million just Hard Rock Live and music in this area has helped the community. So I really get into that kind of stuff because it does mean something for the long term of the area. Me personally, I mean, I'm going to keep pushing the boundary a little bit on what traditional casino shows are. There's only so many legacy classic rock and R&B artists.
Yeah.
They're all getting very old. So now it's like, okay, who's next? It's all the bands from the early 90s, maybe some 80s groups that are still healthy, So I got to find the next future 20 years worth of artists, that will be people that my age will want to go see.
Yeah.
Because the casino wants people my age.
Mm-hmm.
And the industry, the music industry as a whole wants people younger than me. But the people that are paying the big dollars for concert tickets are people that have a good job.
They have the money.
Discretionary income. They're willing to travel. That's the other big thing right now. Is people are willing to travel to go see shows. Like, I'm going to go see Lady Gaga this month probably. I'm going to go to Vegas to see that. I'm going to go to Vegas in August to see Lenny Kravitz. I was exploring going to England to see Coldplay on their last 10 shows of their third year of touring on the same album. I saw Coldplay. I'll get back. Hold on. I got to mention this. So the week of my birthday, I went to Bottle Rock. I'd never been, so I went to see Noah Kahan. Great. I loved it. Napa was fun. The next day, I saw Jack White at Channel 24, new venue. I wanted to check it out. I hadn't seen Jack White ever, and I'm a fan. And then 2 days on Wednesday, so this is Sunday at Bottle Rock, Monday Jack White. Wednesday, we had Sting at my job. Friday, we had this comedian Shang Wang, who I really, really love and advocated for. He's buddies and friends with Ali Wong, and she's big, and she produced his special. So we had him, and then Saturday, Sunday, I went to Stanford to see Coldplay's 2 shows. Sold out. First shows they've ever done there. In general, there's never been a concert at Stanford Stadium, which I didn't know. So that was cool.
Yeah.
42,000. It's a very small stadium for them, but 42,000 people each night. So that was a busy week for me. It was a nice birthday week. But that's what I do, and like I said, I'm going to go to San Francisco to see this Midnight Generation band I've never seen of before. I'm going to go check it out. But I think we have...
So if you like them, I don't mean to interrupt you, but let's say you like this band and you want to bring them. How do you do that? Can you talk to them directly, or do you have to go...
I think they're small enough right now where I can actually just go approach them at the show. I did that with Walk the Moon, which I love also. In Phoenix, they played a room called the Crescent Ballroom, and I think it was like 300 people. And I after the show, they met everybody and I said, hey, here's my card. I work at, when you say you work at X venue or the Hard Rock, they all light up. That's the brand.
Because they know what it is.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily a show I'd probably bring to us right now, unless it's a bigger, like they're part of the puzzle. Like if they're part of a show that has like 2 or 3 other artists, that makes sense, where it's more like not a festival, but just a bigger show. I don't think they would sell 2,500 seats in our room right now. That doesn't mean they won't like 2 years from now or something like that.
Well, you told me that you're 2,500 seats, and you said when Biba Doobie come, you said that would probably be the smallest venue.
It was.
That she plays.
It was. Yeah. Yeah. She did like an arena in Oregon or something. And
it's very intimate. I mean, I've sat way up in the back, and you gave me tickets. Thank you. I've sat up front. There's not a bad seat in that place. You just don't. I can't get my mind wrapped around. There's 2,500 people, right? Because it just really works.
Yeah.
The sound works. I don't care where you're at. Right. Just amazing.
Well, and we continue. The other part of what I like in my job, what I'm doing next, is we're always looking at ways of just improving the venue. We don't really need to. It's amazing already. Yeah. But we have some capital that was approved to purchase more gold circle seats. So up front where you've been, where all the gold seats, I'm buying almost 100 more of those to expand it and make it really premium up front. We're going to angle the 101 and 103 side sections on the floor so that you're having clear views of the stage. Right now you kind of have a front facing, so we're moving. We already did all the mapping. Some of our shows are on sale with the new map, anticipating that the chairs will arrive on time. So we got till October 5th. Keith Sweat, we should be good to go. But, we're also looking at scaling the room down even to doing like 1,500 cap shows. We're looking into buying some curtains and some systems where we can only sell the floor, maybe the skyboxes, and have a 1,500 cap show, because we can do that. It doesn't cost us much to do this stuff, and then our partners can rent the room out or do a smaller level show, or a comedian that might only sell 900 seats at a different venue. We can do that, plus, offer players tickets to the shows. So we're looking forward to doing something like that with some other shows. We still haven't done a Punjabi or Indian style event. I'm looking at doing a Native American comedy festival with some artists that I've worked with before, including one that was just here for a Bureau of Indian Affairs retirement party a couple weeks ago. We performed, and I was like, I remember you from Yuma, Arizona. And I was like, no way. And he goes, yeah. I go, well, then we need to do a show. So let's figure it out. I was like, I'll book it through you, find a couple other artists, and we'll work it out, and we'll give it a shot.
Every once in a while, I'll see comedians that I don't know who they are, right? They're new to me. They're probably not new. But there's this one guy, he's got a Southern accent, and he's huge.
Dusty Slay?
Huh?
Dusty Slay? Or
is that he's fat. He calls himself fat. But he's a big guy. But he's genuinely, he makes fun of everybody. I can see where he'd have to be careful, but he's like no holds barred.
Yeah.
Right? He says, people can make fun of me, I'll make fun of you. But he's genuinely funny, talks about life stuff, right? So it really works. But I have no idea. I'll catch his name, and but there's different ones that come on, and some of them I'm like, but there's some people out there that
we've had some people show up and didn't realize who some of these people are, and they leave. Because they're not into it, or thought they weren't going to be swearing or something. I don't know. They wanted to. But then the really good comedians like Tim or guys like that don't use profanity and are still very funny, like Seinfeld. Mm-hmm. That's his whole thing. He's like, I don't swear, I don't do nothing. This is very Brian Regan's that way. And then you get the other opposites, but you're also very funny. But I mean, we're looking to try to bring Chris Rock back. Kevin Hart was huge. We had Kathy Madigan back the second time. See, upcoming comedy, we've got a guy named Nate Jackson who's really great. He has a roast zone, so if you don't want to get roasted by him, you don't buy tickets in the first two rows. Seriously, it's called Roast Zone, his ticket.
That's clever.
So if you're don't sit there, because if you try to look, he said, too, if you look away, I'm coming at you. Just stare at me unless you want me to, like... So, that's funny. We're doing a couple other shows with DeRay Davis and Jess Hilarious. They're Donnell Rawlings, who is buddies with Chappelle and stuff like that, doing a show together. But comedians are tough because if you don't see their face, you don't recognize them from like TV or Netflix special or something like that, and you see a random name like Stavros Halkias. Who the heck is that? But then you go online, you look him up, you're like, oh yeah, I know that guy. He's in that show Tires. He's on Netflix. Or Dusty Slay. I thought that's who you're talking about. I love him. He's got glasses, long hair, wears trucker hat, super slow.
That's not him. But
his whole thing is having a good time. That's what he does. He puts his hand up, so having a good time. It's like the new "Here's your sign" or whatever, like Bill Engvall used to do.
Oh yeah,
he might be redneck. He's like that. He's got his little tagline, having a good time. But I like Ronnie Chang. He's awesome.
I've seen his stuff.
Yeah, oh man, he's great. I mean, Jimmy O Yang, Bobby Lee. There's a lot of comedians that people just don't know their names. They're like, what? And Jimmy Carr is a good example. He's huge in England. He travels the United States. It's like Jim Jeffries. Super inappropriate, but it's going to sell out. It's in October. And I did it because he's going to be great.
Are there things like impressionists anymore? Things like that. I mean,
like a Dana Carvey kind of guy. Who does
are those guys still around that do that stuff? And
Jay Farrow is that way. I don't know if you remember Jay Farrow. He was on Saturday Night Live, but he does like Kanye and Jay-Z and Bill Barack, and he'll do all kinds of. He does like 1,000 different characters. Remember Michael Winslow from Police Academy? Yeah. He would do Led Zeppelin with his mouth. Like
yes. I've seen that.
No, he's amazing. He still travels and tours, but he's just doing like small clubs like Punchline and stuff. Yeah. But there's impressionist comedians. Yeah. And magician comedian like Justin Willman. Penn and Teller's on their 50th anniversary tour, which I didn't think they were that old.
Gosh, I didn't either.
Yeah. Teller's not telling.
He's not telling.
He has not told anyone how old he is. He's old. But yeah, 50th anniversary tour. When we tried to get that show, it just didn't work out. So,
You know, it has to be at some time, just sometimes frustrating because you probably had people you really wanted and you were that close.
Yes.
You know, and it's
We've
like
had people commit in writing and then they change their mind,
oh, really?
including one of the artists that's coming. So we finally have them coming. I can't announce yet, but that we had them confirmed before, and then they changed their mind.
So they can just change.
I guess so. I didn't think you used to be able to do that. I also didn't think you used. I also think you used to not be able to book a show and then like book another one, like in the same market 3 months ahead of time. Like that's been happening. It's been very interesting. I think there's a lot of new agents. The industry is getting a little weird. There's the younger agents. No one's having. I think the loyalty is starting to go away a little bit between venues and artists. I think there's so many venues now too, and there's new venues opening all the time. So right now, I think unless you have a very well established venue, and we're still new. I mean, we still have agents and artists coming through. So we didn't know you were here. Foreigners, like we didn't know you were here. We're so glad to play here. This is where we want to be. We play all these other places in the area. We don't want to play anywhere else. We want to get
you had Lou Gramm
every year,
right?
No, Kelly Hansen.
You had Kelly Hansen.
Yeah, it was his last show that he'll play in the market because he's moving on.
Oh,
which is really special because we gave him a poster that said, you know, feels like the last time.
Yeah,
gave it to him, and he had the Lincoln High School choir came out and sang with him, which is they do that at every show. They donate a little bit of money to local high schools.
He's exceptional.
He's
I
amazing.
actually saw him at another casino before Hard Rock.
Yeah.
And so the way the seating was, there was an aisle, center aisle, and I couldn't sit next to my family, so I ended up sitting across from them in the front row, I think second row.
Yeah.
And there was an empty seat next to me, and Kelly comes off the stage and sits next to me.
Oh, great. Just sat down.
And so,
just let the band play while he's
and
like
then
a
he
fan.
turns to me and he goes, "Isn't this band great?"
Yeah, that's cool.
What do you say?
Yeah.
No, they're crap, right? He wouldn't do that, right? It's like, no, it's awesome, right?
Ironically, I guess the guy that's their lead guitar or one of their guitar players is now replacing him as the lead singer because he sings background anyway. And then the next day they had a guitar player auditions in our venue to replace the guy that's going to be the singer. So it's kind of fun, you know, to be involved in that kind of stuff. I mean, I think last year we told you we were recording with the Beach Boys to do a 2 episode on the song online that aired this year. So we were fortunate to have that happen. Tyler Rich is coming back for the 4th time for the event, and they may record a video or a live recording in our venue for one of his new songs. So we're looking forward to that. Ironically, Mike Epps, the comedian, will be the 4th time he's coming in December of this year.
When people like somebody, they like them.
Yeah.
You can bring
And Tyler will be his 4th time. So those 2 guys are the most... We do pre-show meetings and we do little trivia with our ushers and ticket takers and all those guys. And sometimes I'll like throw this stuff like, who's been in Hard Rock Live 3 times? And they're all like shouting out random stuff. And I was like, you guys work here every weekend. Like, come on, man, why don't you know these things? So... But they've been pretty good. But like Sting has done 3 shows in our venue already, you know, which I would have never thought would happen.
I don't know if I told you, I had a friend from high school. He was actually the reason I came out to California first time. And we hung around the LA area, and he was trying to get his music published. And I met a lot of people that, you know, Frank Zappa, you know, ones that, you know, they're the older. But we went to meet Brian Wilson, and we hit the buzzer, right? Because Don told me he knew Brian Wilson. And I said, Don, you don't know. And he said, no, Fish, I know him, right? So he said, and this must have been when Brian was not talking to people because he said, go away. So I met Brian Wilson. He told me to go away. That was
through the door. Get out of here.
But Don actually ended up writing music with Brian Wilson, and he got either 1 or 2 of his songs on that last Smile album or whatever it was.
Good, yeah.
Don got his stuff on that, and Don has started. He's been playing in a band called Surf's Up that he started. That they play Beach Boys.
Yeah. That's traveling Beach Boys tribute show.
Mm-hmm. And then his sons were in it. Yeah. Now his grandkids are in it. It's 3 generations, and they play Beach Boys. That's like it. So anyway, So when you mention the Beach Boys, I would think, you know, people still. I mean, I like them, but I'm thinking, how many people still listen to them? But
They travel. It's a younger crowd. A lot of the band players are their grandsons, like you said. One of the guys looked like Brian. I was like, are you sure that's not Brian's kid up there playing keyboards? I grew up in San Diego. I'm from San Diego, so I grew up with the Beach Boys playing like multiple summer nights after a Padres game. End of the night concert at the Beach Boys with San Diego Chicken running around. That's what I grew up.
That's awesome.
The San Diego Chicken. Yeah, I wish they still bring them out, I think, every once in a while. But I'm lucky too to I have a billboard or a foam core surfboard in my office. It's signed by Love, Johnson, Wilson, and El Jardine. I was very lucky. I mean, to have that in my office. So I'm gonna have to get it mounted and properly restored. I guess that's a very much a collector's item now with Brian gone. But I may donate it to our Pinktober auction.
Oh, that would be cool.
I think it's a pretty cool piece. I mean, it's a 6-foot surfboard with their signatures on it. I just need to. I was joking around with my guys. I can make it look like a real one too by getting it glossed over, almost like surf wax. I can make it look glossy and frame it, and then we have a signed guitar and some posters and stuff. So I think that might be a hot item if you're coming to our Pinktober dinner. You got a bid on it. Otherwise, I'll buy it back. I'm donating it and I'll buy it back. It's a nice.
You never know. When I came out here. Another thing was I think I was in Huntington Beach. It's one of the beaches we'd gone to, and we're coming back, and there's this little venue that it probably max would seat 40, 50 people max, and there was a sign out front said Chicago Transit Authority $2. So Don says to me, "You want to go see these guys?" Just 69, because it's right before I got drafted. But it was like I said, I want to go see some band for $2. How good could they be?
Right.
Years later in San Diego, when you said that's where you were, it reminded me. I went and saw them. I was in the nosebleed section, and it was way more than $2 to see them.
Oh, I bet. And they changed their name, right?
So they had to get rid of that. Yeah. They got sued by Chicago Transit or something.
I would have loved it back then. Nowadays, they wouldn't care. They're like, oh, yeah.
Nah, yeah.
Playing Chicago and all their trains and everything. It'd be fun.
Listen, man, thanks for coming on again. It's always good to talk to you and find out what's going on. And, kind of through your eyes, we get to see how the industry is changing and then how it fits in with the Hard Rock.
Yeah.
It's, again, to me, having the Hard Rock right here in our backyard in this area, with an incredible venue. I mean, that, like I said, they're in a bad seat. But I think it was funny when you were talking about, we're just going to change it. We can, move it in and out, adjust the seats. Because I know that when my grandson went to see Bibadoo, he said there was no chairs.
Yeah,
and you had told
standing
me,
room only.
There's standing room only. And it was like,
unless you're upstairs, yeah.
I'm too old to stand all that.
Yeah, me too.
It's like,
if we have a GA pit show, I'm sitting in the risers. But I will say though, when I went to go see the Killers in Vegas the first time, I was in seats. When I went in January this year, I was second row in the pit, like basically high-fiving Brandon and the band. So
how cool is that?
But I don't do that. But I was like, I got to do it for this one. I did the same thing with Coldplay. I had reserved the first night and I had GA floor the second night, right on the B stage. So they were all right there. And I don't normally do that, but I'm excited about what we got going on out here. The one thing that's constant for me is that everybody that's in that room for that show is kind of like-minded and having a good time.
Yep.
No worries in the world. Everyone's there to enjoy the music and be friends with strangers. That's something I really take to heart, and I agree with all that kind of good stuff. And it's kind of what the Hard Rock's all about. All is one is one of our mottos. And when you're at a show, that truly is true. All is one. We look out for each other. We, good or bad within the venue, and we're taking care of the musicians and having a good time. So, and we have a living, breathing museum. If you're into memorabilia and you want to come spend an hour walking around the venue and the property before you go to the show, after you get done eating, go around and look at all the cool stuff we have up. That's what Hard Rock's known for.
My wife's always taking pictures of it.
Oh yeah, we're actually working on a guided tour.
Oh,
like an audio, with the audio, like with tracks and everything, where you'll hear a script and you walk around each, and the song will play for that band. So we're working on that right now. That's kind of me and the marketing team's project.
Something new.
Yeah.
Well, listen, thanks again. We're going to have you back.
Yeah, sooner than later.
Wait a little time, and you'll be able to release what's going on out there.
If it was like a week from now, we'd have a couple more new announcements for you. Tight lip.
Well, you've been watching In the Tank with Fish and Randy Maddocks, who does all the entertainment, everything out at the Hard Rock, except for when somebody sneaks in and plays, and he finds out, like, who was that?
Yeah,
right? Where did he play, right?
Let me know ahead of time.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll let him know.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll be back. I may have to get an outfit like his. I feel a little underdressed, right? And I felt like we are doing a little bit of the Miami Vice thing here, you know.
Magnum PI.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Y50.
Yeah.
Any of those. Fantasy Island.
Yeah.
Going way back.
Then you talked about having a surfboard. We're in. All right. We'll be back. Hey, listen, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, put all that stuff you do. We appreciate it. And we'll be back next week. See you next time.